Morning. All right. My name is Ashwini Sharma. I'm a program manager on the Flow team.
Good morning. My name is Kent Weir. I'm a senior manager, enterprise architecture and integration at an energy company called InterPipeline.
And the one person that's missing is John Levesque. He unfortunately pulled his back, so I'm here representing him. But he sends his best wishes, and he wishes he could be here to do this presentation. How's the conference going so far for people? Yeah? Any interesting new announcements that really piqued your attention? Say again? No, it was outside. Any announcements? AI Builder was one that was announced yesterday. If you haven't seen it already, just go down to the booth. It is awesome for people that are interested in AI but don't really know how to embed it into your applications or into your workflows. That's a great experience. And of course, Power BI had a whole bunch of new announcements as well. Paginator, there's a long list of things. This session is slightly different. This session is, at the start, what we start out with is this thing called transformation. And as a vendor, what we say is, hey, you just get the tool and life is good and you're transformed. You just wake up the next day, you deploy, and life is awesome. But what this session focuses on initially is this thing about people and how do we transform not just the tools and the systems, but also the role of people in this organization. And what we'll do is I'll cover for the first 10 minutes or so this overall framework, or how do you transform a business? What are the key people skills or the key people gaps that you need to be aware of and address? And then we'll see how we apply it in InterPipeline as an example, just to make it real. And I'll be looking at my notes since I'll do that. In this session, just to get an idea of who is in the session, how many people consider themselves to be end users of tools that we build? Yeah. How many are IT, who consider themselves to be in IT? How many are in development, who consider themselves to be developers? How many would be leaders? Great. How many are managers? Okay, thank you. How many are leaders that are not managers? Thank you. Yeah, it's important for that one, because sometimes people conflate both of those two things together, and there's no reason why only managers can affect change. Leadership is independent. So that's what we're going to talk about in transformation. Now, transformation is hard work, and there are many roadblocks, many hurdles on the way to get you to that place. The first one is around fear, which is fear of messing up, fear of making mistakes, fear of not looking good, fear of just a lot of, I may not know enough, I may not do it the right way. And that's real, that when people, anytime they start to look for change, or they start to make change, there's this aspect of, will I be successful if I take this on? The next one is about tools or trainings. I used to be at a company where there was I'd have to fill out a report for getting a subscription to a $15 per month tool, which would affect me. And one of the things that, when I joined Microsoft, one of the things my manager said at the time, he was a great manager, was, hey, the only thing we can't buy is time. Let me know what you need. Right? That was such a fundamental shift in just empowerment of me as an employee, to say, wow, this organization cares about making change, and they know what their priorities are. But that's not real for many organizations. So the tools or training gap, right? If you came to this conference, you got the tools, you got the latest AI Builder or Power BI, and now what the training is to get you impactful with that tools that you got. So that's another hurdle that people run into. The flip side of this is the next one, which is too many options. And this is, if you take communication, for example, some teams are using Slack, some teams are using Yammer, some teams are using Teams, some teams are using the Facebook workplace, some people are old school and use emails, and you're just confused. Okay, who is trying to reach me and say what on what channel? and how do I keep up with everything that's going on? So that could be another hurdle where you're just wasting time looking at all these different options that are available to you and not being able to make sense of it at all. And finally, which is there's nobody in this room. By definition, you would not be here if you have this, which is the stuck mindset. And there are many people that are in this place, which is, no, this is the way we've always done it. Microsoft as a company has gone through a renewal in the last few years, and you can feel transformation is hard. Change is difficult. You can't just snap your fingers, and everybody is aligned. So even though it's 100,000 fairly decent, smart employees, still it takes time and effort to get out of this fixed mindset that you have into embracing the unknown and trying new things out. So change is hard. Yep. The rewards are worth it. If you just think of it from an abstract perspective, and these are large numbers, 18% increase in 3 years, of $500 billion spent. A lot of this will go into improving your customer experiences, building better products and services, empowering employees, maximizing your operations. A lot of this is just possible thanks to the $500 billion of spend. And then there's even bigger number, right, which is over the next 10 years, $100 trillion of new opportunity created. Just imagine 100 Microsofts created in the next 10 years, which is just immense opportunity for us to be able to do. Now, we can always, we've got a split personality, so we hear these numbers and we say, yeah, that's good, but people will avoid anything to change. Right? It's just core human, in the hierarchy of needs, right? You feel threatened, or there are two core motivations. I want to look good, and I don't want to look bad, right? This is just at conflict every time that you want to try something new. And it's real, and you have to acknowledge it's real, and as leaders in the room, you have to be aware that your teams are going through this as you're pushing for change and as you're trying new things out, and you try to lead by examples, try to sponsor them, but just know that this is real, that you have to address it. So making the change is the first step, and essentially to be able to, how do you, the next section of this presentation is, okay, now we acknowledge that this exists. Now what is the framework to make it possible? How do you go from, okay, I acknowledge it's time for change, and what is this art of the possible that makes it real? And the goal of this next slide, is to just lay out a picture just for your awareness. This is on your radar, so you can look as you're driving change throughout your organizations. Just look at these different aspects and make sure your foundation is solid as you go deploy, as you push for changes. And I'll go through all of these: show and tell, opportunity, creating the opportunity, ownership, making sure people own, what is the value that they're getting created, what are the rewards that you end up as managers or as leaders to reinforce, and what's the support that you provide. So first one, show and tell. This one is, how many people have kids in kindergarten or were in kindergarten at some point? Yeah? There is a practice in the kindergartens, which is as new kids come in, they sit in circles in many kindergartens, and they have a new thing that they bring from home. It could be a ball, it could be a toy, it could be an airplane, and they describe what it is to others, right? Just as a habit of communicating. So an example of this is a kid comes in with a small red hammer that they got from their parents, and he's talking about all the tree house he's going to build. His grandma's going to come in the tree house, and they're going to have a great story time up in the tree house. And it's just imagination runs wild. But all of that was possible only once this person got the hammer. Before the hammer, there was no treehouse for this person. And that's one of the things that I see with Flow is, and with the Power BI and with Power Apps, is just that imagination of what can I do with this thing is sometimes the biggest gap. You can see in an abstract, yep, I can analyze, I can automate, I can act. Right? These are abstract verbs that I know what that is. But then how is it real for my organization? That's hard for me to know. So show and tell, there's a great value in being able to have, hey, here's an example of what is possible. And that triggers some other thoughts in somebody else's mind. So my favorite one for flow is, I didn't get flow until I built this one flow, which is one that manages my calendar. Right? So we're busy people. We have days full of meetings. And what I ended up doing was I realized that I booked time on my calendar just to get stuff done because I was just in back-to-back meetings. And hey, I'm working on the flow team, so maybe I should create a flow that does that automatically. So what I have now is on Sunday morning at 1 a.m., I have a flow that wakes up, and it looks at my calendar, looks for 2-hour time slots, and whenever it finds 2 hours time slot on the weekdays between 8 and 7, it just books them. And I get up on Sunday morning, and I see what are the calendar items that exist. And if I choose now, I can take them off just for, okay, if there are new meetings that come in, I can take them off. And that's an example. Whenever I show that to people, they say, oh, yeah, I could use that. But it's all about show and tell. It's all about creating something concrete that can get people's imaginations going. The next one is an opportunity. I must see an opportunity. There must be an opportunity for me to affect change. Whether it is alignment of my business with Power BI, whether it's streamlining my business processes with Power Apps, whether it's automating my business processes with Flow, I must be able to see the opportunity that exists. Or as leaders, you must be able to envision what is the opportunity that you want the organization to go after. But that has to be clear. The next one is ownership. This one, there are some organizations that are very top-heavy, where all the decisions are made in a hierarchical manner. And if you are a leaf node in that organization, it is very hard to innovate, because all the things that you come up with, all ideas you come up with, it goes up, and then it goes up, and then it goes up, and sometimes then it comes down saying no. Or goes up, goes up, goes up. Did you know this other thing was happening over on the other side? And it just keeps happening over and over again. Then there's only so much limited energy that you have as a person to push without support. So as leaders, again, be clear what you want your people to go, what is the opportunity you want people to go after, and then give them the ownership, give them the ability to make decisions. Be clear about what metrics you'll know for success, and then empower them by owning them. The next one is value. Can I deliver value? Is it worth my time? Do I have enough skills to learn? Do I have access to blogs or to conferences? Do I have access to training? Do I have access to the resources where I can transfer my knowledge that I've got, or what the technology's potential is, into the opportunity that you've identified for me? So creating that support system where you can give value, where you're trained enough to deliver value. Rewards. Money talks. And this is one that, as many leaders, we have said one thing, and we have rewarded something else. If you've said no jokes, no joke policies, but there's this one guy or girl that is just excellent at what they do, but they just burn bridges as in the process of doing that. Okay, how are you rewarding? What is your philosophy on rewarding that behavior? And is it clear to everybody else in your organization what you value through that reward philosophy that you have? Do you walk the talk, essentially? If you want to reward innovation, if one of your philosophies is, I want this organization to innovate, and I want this organization to transform, are you rewarding that? Or are you rewarding keeping the lights on only? There has to be a balance somewhere in rewarding. Right? And rewards doesn't have to be just monetary. It could be acknowledgments, could be kudos, could be public recognition, could be leaderboards, could be a whole bunch of different just creative ideas to make sure you're encouraging that behavior. And then support. So if you are a manager, if you have access to resources, balancing those resource allocations so that you make sure that you have enough resources available to be able to transform. if you're a leader, not necessarily a manager, being able to encourage, lead by example, being able to support, create opportunities for new show and tell, and that's how the circle then continues on. Once you get the circle going, then you can have new opportunities for people to transform. Right, so that was a quick walkthrough, and the goal of that framework was just to make sure that you're aware of all the things to be aware of as you go transform your business, and just make sure that you're accommodating all of them. The state of things today, IT is overloaded, yeah, and no fault of them, right? They've been asked to do an impossible job with shrinking budgets. Be aware of all the cloud things that are happening, move to the cloud, be secure, do it cheaper, do it faster. What do you mean this thing cannot upgrade to the latest version? We paid it. What do you mean this thing cannot scale? And then IT, it's a discipline. How do you build robust applications that live for longer than a demo, right? How do you architect these solutions? And no wonder they're overloaded, because they're bearing the brunt of what the business asks of them. And still, the business can't move fast enough, and they're looking for ways to go around IT and say, hey, maybe I'll just go look at a software as a service to just bypass what IT has got, because there's such a long line of getting through to IT. And this dynamic is real in organizations, and we need to acknowledge that is real. And then if you're in IT, then you say, what is my role in this dynamic? As businesses are just getting more and more frustrated as they have access to new tools that give them value, what really is my role? And I think Kent will cover some of that as well. Okay, great. The future, this is the Citizen App Platform team. Our whole Citizen App Platform includes Power BI apps, Power Apps, Flow, AI Builder, and the Common Data Service. And our strategic bet for the organization is that we can create a future where we can democratize tools for the frontline workers, because they are the ones that are solving problems they are closest to the problems that they're trying to solve. If you are a developer, we want to make sure that you have tools that allow you as a developer to make available connectors and data sources and artifacts that others in your organizations can use in a way that's still compliant. And then IT is ensuring the proper security and access through data leakage prevention, data loss prevention, advanced analytics, and compliance facilities. Right? We believe that once we have these targeted values that we provide to these different personas, that an organization as a whole can be able to transform themselves. And the leadership is there to unblock. Right? One of the things, we sometimes forget why leadership exists, why management exists. The whole reason why you exist is to make sure that the organization is pointed in the right direction, and you're unblocking people as much as possible. And my first meeting a long time back with Satya was before he became a CEO. He was still in charge of the Azure team, and I wasn't used to this interaction with him. I went in, and he's leaning on his chair and saying, "What can I do for you?" And I say, I was just shocked, because I wasn't ready for an exec asking me this question. And I rattled off two things, and I said, "Great, why don't we have a checkpoint next week, and I'll check in on you and make sure you got everything that you need." And that kind of a sponsorship, that kind of a support from a leader in an organization just helps you get stuff done, right? Just moves roadblocks out of the way. So if you are a leader, can you make that happen? Are you a sponsor for your people that are pushing, making this hard change? They've got fear at the back of your head. I don't know if I'll succeed. I don't know if I have all the right tools. They're being brave and bold enough to go push for this. And are you there meeting them and pulling them forward? So as leadership, just make sure your job is to ensure all justified initiatives can be created. Okay, so here, as an example, I'll hand over to Kent, and he can go through how they've applied these framework.
Okay, thank you, Ash. So as Ash mentioned, digital transformation isn't something you can buy. In fact, I'm not a big fan of the term altogether. I prefer business transformation using digital tools. Because at the end of the day, when you're working in these other mainstream businesses, it's not about technology. It's not about introducing new widgets. It's about generating some sort of a business outcome. And as Ash has also mentioned, that transformation is actually more about the people than it is about the tools. Now, the tools enable it, but without changing your mindset, it doesn't matter what tools you're using. You're still going to be delivering IT services in a traditional manner. So a little bit about InterPipeline. So we're based out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We're a major energy transportation company. We also do have some energy storage solutions in parts of Europe. And so we've undergone some change recently in the past year from an IT leadership perspective. And certainly the way that we're looking at delivering IT services is getting out of this mentality of being a gatekeeper. You know, the people that just say no. We actually want to participate with the business. We want to actually drive outcomes, because what's good for the company ultimately is good for IT, which is ultimately good for the individual. So we're looking at it very much from that perspective, not from what is good for IT, then is what is good for the company itself. And so what this means is we need to change our mindset. And so this is the way we're looking at the role of information technology going forward, where we're there to enable the adoption of technology in a safe, cost-effective, and reliable manner. Now, what this does say is that security is still front and center for us. But it also takes us to take a step back and take a look at what does that really mean. Some people feel that because you have data in your data center, it's safe, versus, well, no, it's in the public cloud, that's dangerous. We don't necessarily look at it that way. So obviously we go through a lot of our own due diligence, but I think it's a bit of a fallacy that thinking just because you have a data center, that's safe. And I would love to see any pen tests for some of those organizations that suggest otherwise. Now, so we're very focused on this notion of an IT business partnership. And so what this means is we're still interested in what we're calling a case for change, or a very lightweight business case. We want to ensure that when we're actually spending the company's money, that there's some sort of value attached to that. And the thing is, we want to streamline that. We want to lean that process out. We're not interested in these long, multi-week, multi-month business cases where you just never get started. I think the business is always excited about what an upcoming solution can provide, but if they're stuck waiting for months in order to see some execution, they quickly lose interest. So we're really focused on the integration of these IT solutions with business objectives. And naturally, that involves change management. It involves change management on the IT side. It also involves change management from a business perspective as well. And then what enables this? I think what's sort of the catalyst for some of this is actually leveraging the Power Platform. And the reason for that is that is a more democratized platform that we can bring more people into building those different solutions. Another concept that we've introduced is this notion of rocks, pebbles, and sand. So being in a publicly traded, regulated environment, naturally we have some of those big ERP systems. We have energy trading systems. We have enterprise asset maintenance systems, right? Those are considered our big rocks. These are the technologies that fuel sort of core business processes across the organization. Now, naturally, with those big systems, you sort of fall into that traditional trap of like very slow-moving, highly constrained, tons of visibility, tons of governance, tons of restrictions that involve. And we get that. There's some things where you do need to apply that rigor, especially around like financial reporting, consolidated reporting. Those are things that you just can't go out and do on a whim. The next is what we call pebbles, and this is more of existing tools, existing infrastructure that do require this like, sustainment and ongoing maintenance, where you do need to keep these things up to date, or you fall out of line with vendor support and those types of things. And we consider those the pebbles. And now the last one is the sand, and I think this is the most interesting aspect that we're focused on, especially personally, and this is really the innovation. And so the whole idea is if you actually structure your organization correctly, you can actually get more done. So when you look at these jars, they actually contain the same contents, right? But the problem is that if you don't organize yourself correctly, what you'll see is you won't get all of the work done. And so this is how we've set up our organization to focus on, yes, we've got projects around the big rocks, we've got projects around the pebbles, but now how do we actually sprinkle in the sand? and actually create this culture of innovation. And I think this is where we're really excited about and sort of a key part of this talk. So how do we get more people up to speed with this technology in order for us to deliver more? Because I think ultimately it's about scaling. How can we scale the organization in order to drive further outcomes? So we did some hands-on learning. So this was in March of this past year at our nickname or our acronym is IPL. And so we had 18 people that were there. Now this was a very diverse audience. We had a few people from the business that have showed a lot of aptitude around Office 365. And then we had a bunch of IT folks. Now these are not IT developers. We had people from our project management office. We had an accountant there. We had project managers. We had organizational change management analysts. We had some enterprise architects there. It very was a diverse audience from both a functional perspective and a technical perspective. And I think this is a key opportunity. That notion of diversity obviously is a message you're hearing more and more about these days, and diversity comes in many forms. But one thing to think about is this notion of diversity of thought or digital inclusion. And that's where we have obviously a lot of intelligent people working at our organization, but how can we tap into all of those ideas that they have? Back to Ash's point about people that are closer to the problem are probably in a better position to solve the problem. That's really what we're after from this perspective. So in this hands-on learning, I had provided an overview of the Power Platform and some of the initiatives that we were already doing at IPL related to it. We had a partner in Calgary, Fidelity Factory, help us out with some of the Power Apps content. And then I had convinced John Levesque in the upper left-hand corner. I enticed him with skiing in Banff in Calgary in March, which is generally the sweet spot for skiing. However, it was minus 30 degrees Celsius. He still came. He still insisted we go skiing. I really didn't want to at that point, but he still came through. And so he came up and delivered some of the flow content as well. And so what we're going to talk about for the next 30 minutes or so is what are the sort of solutions that these teams actually developed and give you some demonstrations of it. Now, what we've done at IPL, we focused initially on Microsoft Flow and Power Apps. And exactly what I'm showing you now is actually what we're doing with Power BI. We've just done 2 intakes of Power BI. We have another one next week. So naturally, Microsoft Flow, if you're not familiar with it, it's a cloud-based workflow solution. Approvals is a big part of the platform. You see it in a lot of different use cases. And it becomes very powerful through over 250 connectors. I think the number is closer to 275 at this point. But this allows you to tap into a lot of your different data assets, whether they be in the cloud or on-premise. Power Apps was another key component that we talked about, and it's a cross-platform web and mobile application. That application there, although it's a little bit small, was something that we had developed for our leadership summit. And so this was another opportunity for people to build a mobile application within a single day and have it running on their phone. So for people that have come from, say, non-technical backgrounds, this was mind-blowing for them because they just never thought that they would be able to do something that they could see on their phone. So this was the app that every attendee built. This was an expense tracker application where you could go ahead and take a picture of a receipt, capture some metadata around it, and then send it to your boss or your leader for approval. That was facilitated through Microsoft Flow. And then we used SharePoint, the SharePoint list, to capture all of this data. So people that showed up at that training with no prior Power Apps and Flow experience were able to build this application within 5 hours. So in some of the talks I've had today, the people are like, well, what about skepticism? Are people like skeptical walking into these? Sure. But there's nothing like results that actually demystifies some of that skepticism. And that's exactly what we saw here. Even with some of the developers, where it's like, well, I'm used to writing .NET. I want to get low-level code. And then they're like, wait a minute, I just did something super powerful in the course of a few hours that would take me weeks or lots of hours in order to do if I was writing the code. So this is the team hard at work. As I mentioned before, it's a diverse audience across business, across their function within IT, and definitely their technical background. And so what we did is we provided this hands-on training. And you might be saying, OK, big deal. Everyone does training. Everyone does these hackathons. I think the big difference for us is like we actually want to focus on like outcomes. So how do we ensure that people use these skills to actually develop something that is used and useful for the organization? And so what we did is we split everybody up into 4 teams. And so everyone, naturally walks into the room, sits beside their buddy, sits with their teammates. And so we didn't want that to happen. We wanted to really tap into that diversity of thought. So we handed out random numbers and then broke people into groups. And then what we said, okay, you've gone through this, you've built an app in 5 hours. Now, what are some other opportunities within the business that you could see being addressed using this platform? And so we asked them to identify 3, just so we could catalog some of these. But then we asked them to prioritize 1. If you were going to do 1, what would you do? And then we asked them to create 4 milestones. How do we know that you're going to be on target with this? How are you distributing this work in terms of people contributing? And then what we did is we met 3 weeks later. We've got dual monitors. That's why you've got people looking in different directions. But we wanted to say, okay, how are you progressing? Are you blocked? Is there anything you need? So back to the leadership comment from Ash is like, this is the leadership saying, how can I help you? What do you need to be successful? That was our role. We also wanted to say, what did you learn? And then I think most importantly, what would you do differently? Sort of that idea of retrospective of like, hey, yeah, I have learned a lesson, but if I was to do this again, I would probably approach it a different way. Then what we did is the following 3 weeks, and then 6 weeks in total, we did a demo day with our IT executive, our IT GM, and the CFO. And so each team got the opportunity to present to these executives and demonstrate their applications. So back to that reward or recognition slide, right? This is a huge opportunity for people to get some exposure to senior leadership, to say, hey, I am happy to be here. I am invigorated. This is a great opportunity. So we wanted to give them the floor and actually allow them to demonstrate their use cases. And I think what was interesting for me, having sort of been involved in this and sort of having some insight in terms of what people were building, and then seeing the executives walk in cold and to see their minds completely blown, I think was super interesting for me, and obviously very exciting to see both sides of the fence being really happy with people being proud of what they've built, and also the executive recognizing that as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk through the 4 different demos. They're recorded, just so I'm not logging into a bunch of different things. And we'll actually give you a sense of what these folks actually went ahead and built. So this is the first one. It's a station checklist app. And this was identified an opportunity from one of the business folks in the room, where obviously we have pipelines, we have different facilities. As you would expect, there needs to be these checklists where people are going through and ensuring that specific tasks related to maintenance are being done. And so they felt that this would be an opportunity to digitize this because it has been historically a very paper-based process, and I have a screenshot of that paper. So back to diversity. So we had someone from the business. We had an enterprise content management architect involved. We had an IT developer who was part of the team, and then a project manager who runs projects, also part of the team. And so all of these team members were brand new to Power Apps. And so this is the problem they were trying to solve. Checklists are currently completed using pen and paper. The field resource will print out this checklist, travel to the station, complete the checklist on paper, go back to the field office, scan it, then upload it into our enterprise asset management system. So no easy way to track or search what's been completed on the checklist, because now we've taken a paper copy and digitized it, basically took a screenshot of it essentially. So how do you actually extract that insight? Maybe we could use AI Builder now, but certainly at this point, that wasn't a good opportunity for us. And this is something that has to be completed every week for every station. Here's a picture of the checklist. As you can see, you have to move through a lot of information using pen and paper. So the team felt that they could build better. They could build a better solution, so they wanted to create a checklist application. Then they also wanted to include notifications to the supervisor that would inform them when the checklist is actually complete. We would then be able to upload all of the data to SharePoint. And what actually the team has done since this, and unfortunately I don't have a screenshot, is they've now layered Power BI on top of that SharePoint data, and they've actually used the map control in order to map out where all of these checklists have been completed and the timeliness of it. Once again, this team didn't have a lot of Power BI experience either. Here's the key components, or the high-level solution architecture, where Power Apps to capture the information, SharePoint to store it, Flow to automate the approvals and to send notifications, and then Power BI to visualize. So back to the Act, the Automate, and the Analyze. Here they're using the entire Power Platform to do so. So what I'm going to do is just quickly run the demo. It is a little bit quick, but just in the interest of time in order to get through all 4 of them. So yes, these are the team members. As I mentioned, very diverse skill sets. But what's interesting is that these people have become champions as a result of the platform itself. We did integrate the Power App with our map solution. We've plugged in our safety information as well, so people have that readily available. Here, you would have a technician going through a station checklist, and instead of ticking off all those boxes, here we're just using controls. Not going to run through all of those naturally. Have ability to take a picture. In this case, if the gate lock needed to be replaced, we could capture that information. You can see all of the items that are in progress, and when you're done with that, you can basically send it off, and the supervisor will get notified that that's been completed. So this is the supervisor getting the notification where they would have the ability to click on the link, go right into SharePoint, and perform a more thorough investigation if they required. Now, in terms of how long did this solution take to build, the team says it was less than 10 hours. Probably the Power BI would be beyond that. But once again, something that was very manual historically was done in a matter of around 10 hours. So what are some of the benefits of this? So these were all software tools that we had. We didn't have to pay any additional licenses for this. So they talked to the business in terms of what the benefit would be of this, and they estimated about 1.5 hours per week of saving time from a technician's perspective, which equates to around $95K per year in terms of outcomes. And beyond that, we've got now better data, higher quality data, where if we ever had more compliance or an audit, we wouldn't have to be hunting through lots of PDFs in order to find that information. It's all indexed. We can surface it up through Power BI very quickly and easily. And the last point there on the screen is in terms of overall time savings, we feel about 1.5 hours per week across 950 employees. That's almost 72,000 hours per year across 32 FTEs. So that was the first use case. The next use case I want to talk to you about is software license requests and renewals. And so this has traditionally been another manual process for us. Naturally, you've got different IT managers who have different sort of relationships with these different vendors. Unfortunately, I'd say we haven't done a great job of sort of consolidating that information in order to be able to track it. That's what this solution is going to do for us. So we spent significant dollars. I removed the actual number from a presentation, but it's in the millions for software spend. So naturally, there's a big opportunity here. The other thing is we're growing. We're a growing business, so we keep adding seats. So when we add seats, naturally we're adding costs, especially in this subscription models of Office 365, Power BI, et cetera. Here's the current process. Not going to go through this one by one with you, but the team wanted to focus on this part of the process. And as they were taking a look at it, they actually took the opportunity to lean out the process and were able to eliminate a step, which is naturally something you should always be doing when you're looking at these things. If you digitize a poor process, it's still going to be a poor process, even though it's been digitized. So they removed a step because they felt, we don't need to do this anymore. Now, in terms of what are the benefits of this solution, they can automate a largely manual process. They can create visibility for all software requests to go through their life cycle. And now they can actually easily search and report on software purchases and renewals. Another opportunity with this is naturally you're capturing all of this information, but how do you track your renewals? How can you get ahead of those renewals, perhaps get some cost savings, or rationalizing the number of seats you need? Usually these things creep up on people because everyone's busy, but we can actually use Flow, and we call it the digital nag, where every day I can go into that list and say, what's an upcoming renewal, and actually who's the owner, and send that notification out in order to get that visibility. That's another opportunity with this solution as well. So here's the team. It's made up of an IT supervisor, an accountant, an architect, and then someone from our service desk as well. So here's the Power App itself. In this case, they're going to go create a new renewal. You can see that we've integrated in with Office 365, so we can specify owners and whatnot. We did speed this up. There's a lot of data that needs to be captured. We do have mandatory fields identified in red. You can't proceed without completing out those fields. If we want to include attachments, say a quote from the vendor, we have the ability to include that as well, stored in SharePoint on the back end. They've implemented features such as sorting, filtering across all of the key fields. If you want to go ahead and edit an existing form, because you're naturally not going to do that all in one sitting, you can have the ability to do that. In this case, we recognize that we captured the address wrong, so we're going to go into the quote and get the right address and head back into the record to go ahead and update that. So there's a series of states that exist, so we can actually go ahead and see that this is now pending review. So what we can do now is kick off a flow in order to have the IT manager go ahead and review that upcoming request in order to ensure that it aligns and the numbers are accurate and the quote sounds correct. So here's the approval going through Flow and through your Office 365 inbox. We can see that now the state has changed to pending approval, and then we can go ahead and send that approval off to our internal supply chain team for them to go ahead and process that quote. So now, yes, now it's been approved. And then what we can do is we haven't integrated this with SAP, but once we have the purchase request number from SAP, we would go ahead and update this and basically close off this part of the process. So next steps. So naturally want to link to a master software/vendor list. So this is typically stored inside of the ERP, so we'd want to be able to do that. So we've got a single source of truth. Build Power BI dashboards on top of this so we can actually visualize all of this data. Now that it's captured inside of SharePoint, we can see what is the upcoming renewals, what is the estimated spend, things like that. And then just include SAP connectivity, right? So we can handle the purchase request number and purchase request creation part of the process as well. So the next scenario I want to talk about is a help desk bot. And so this is a combination of a few different folks. We've got a project manager involved. We have the supervisor of our service desk and end user computing. We did have a SharePoint person and then also a business intelligence developer as well. So naturally, self-service is a big deal these days whenever you're dealing with customer service, whether it's inside your company or externally with other vendors as well. And so naturally, we want to be able to improve this process. We want people to have a good experience when they're trying to get help, because at that point, they're already disrupted. So now if we have a poor process, we're just adding to that frustration. And so we've gone ahead and built a help desk bot in order to help address this. Now, in order to leverage this or to help with the AI side of things, we're using Q&A Maker. So this is a service, a user-friendly service from Microsoft that allows you to provide a series of questions and then their related answers. And it uses natural language processing in order to understand the intent of the request in order to map it with an answer itself. So this means you can ask a question many different ways, but you should always get the same answer or a relevant answer. And so naturally, this runs in the cloud. There's a growing list of available channels that you can integrate with this, whether that's your Office 365, your Outlook, Yammer, Power Apps, Teams, etc. So we'll get right into the demo. So here's the Power App, and it actually has sort of two modes. This is more you ask a question, get a response in more of an asynchronous manner. So here asking, how do I get SAP access? Go ahead and submit the request. The AI bot will come back and then say, go to Service Central. Here's all of the steps. If you want to do more of a request-response synchronous conversation, then once again, still in the Power App, here you're just going to have that conversation where you say, hey, hi. The help desk is going to respond, say, hey, this is a greeting. We'll respond back with a greeting response. And then what we'll do is we will ask the question, how do I get access to SAP? And then the bot will provide these instructions back. And so behind this, we do have Flow that's handling that interaction with Q&A Maker. Another scenario is Yammer, right? Once again, you can have the same knowledge base, but in terms of how we interact with it can be through a variety of different channels. We showed Power Apps. Now we're using Yammer. And then so what's happening is Flow is listening to Yammer events, going to go ahead and pick up that request, go into Q&A Maker, try to get a response. In the event that it's not confident with the response, what's happening here is we're actually going to send that out to a human, and they can actually approve the response so that you know that you're not going to send some like a poor response to your user if it's not confident in the response. And that's actually handled through Q&A Maker. Here's just another view, once again, a different channel. This is a simple web page where we could embed that as part of our intranet and still tap into that same Q&A Maker experience. And then the idea is you provide a question, and then you get prescriptive actions in terms of how you can go about responding to it. So benefits, outcomes. So in April, our service desk received over 4,000 tickets. And of those over 4,000 tickets, over 1,000 of them were related to application and or folder access. This is an area that is ripe for a bot in terms of you can still have the approval, you can still have the governance, but you don't have that manual work that's happening on the back end. And so this is a big opportunity for us in terms of cost savings, reducing that frustration of end users, and actually allowing everyone to be more productive. So next step is just extend the knowledge base. So basically, we have an existing IT service management tool. We want to be able to track or extract all of that information and actually load it into the Q&A Maker, at least like prioritize what are the most frequently requested scenarios, and then ensure that they're in the knowledge base to provide a good experience from that perspective. The Q&A Maker is extremely cheap. In its current form, we're just using the free tier. But even if we ramp up in terms to handle our load, we're looking at about $12 a month to be able to take advantage of that artificial intelligence. So once again, a few years ago, you would never be able to do this on your own. It wouldn't be cost effective. But now that we've got this democratized technology, we can actually leverage it, and it's extremely cost effective. And then it's how do we actually extend this to our intranet, extend it to mobile phones, Microsoft Teams. The last scenario I want to walk you through is the team got a little bit creative here and called their team inventory. And so this is as relates to our IT store in terms of all of our IT assets and how we're managing them. And I'd say there's a lot of improvements in this area for us. Today it's done, or previously it was done through manual spreadsheets in Excel. And it was difficult to track, difficult to report on naturally. And so we wanted to be able to digitize this process as well, so that we can take advantage of just-in-time inventory challenges and just overall just be more productive in terms of how we're managing our IT assets. Once again, you can see our anticipated growth from an FTE perspective, so we can't continue to rely on manual processes if we're expected to help scale the organization. Benefits, costs contribute to cost savings. They've estimated this could be as much as $1 million annually. We can allow the service desk to focus on higher value work than doing a lot of this manual tracking and data input. It can also increase our accuracy as it pertains to forecasting and budgeting, and then naturally providing a better user experience and better reporting. So let's take a look. This was recorded right off the iPhone. So this team is made up of a project manager, a person actually that runs our project management office. He did most of this app development. We also have an organizational change management person, and then also an IT director that were a part of this team. So here what we want to do is we've received the shipment of Dell laptops. We want to then go ahead and add them into inventory. So this is a Power App that included that barcode scanner control where they can actually record that device and actually add it into inventory itself. Here we're going to go ahead and add a phone into inventory. So this would be, an iPhone. So that's been successfully added to inventory. Now we've got a new employee that's joining the organization, and we need to be able to provide them with computing devices. So once again, we've integrated into Office 365. We can look up their name. We can see where their desk is. Then we're going to go ahead and scan the laptop that we're about to give them. And then we can see that that's now been associated to their record and their desk. And we're going to issue them a phone. Same thing. Now that's all tied to that individual's record. Here, what we're going to do is check to see what laptops we have in stock. So now we can actually go ahead and see, okay, are we running low on a specific type of model? Do we have a new project coming up where we need to be able to onboard people? So we need to order some stock if that might be the case. Yeah, and that's... So that concludes the 4 demos that those teams put together. Now, so what's interesting, just to recap that a little bit, these were all solutions that people built without having any prior knowledge prior to that training. The solutions in duration took anywhere from, around 10 hours to about 80 hours in terms of how people went ahead and built these different solutions. On top of this, they still did their day job. This was not something where it was like, okay, we're locking you into a conference room and don't come out until you're done. This was on top of the other responsibilities that they had, whether they're in the project management office, their PM, et cetera. So what are we doing next? We've seen a lot of interest in this program. We've got the attention of the executive. We've actually presented this to the CEO and his senior leadership team. And so basically our mindset going forward is how do we do more of this? How do we scale this? So we've already, as I mentioned, done 2 Power BI sessions like this. We've got another one coming up next week. We've got 2 sessions around Flow, where we're going to do bottom-up innovation, and then another Power Apps and Flow bottom-up innovation in mid-August. So now what's happening is more and more people are expressing interest in these technologies. They've seen the opportunity. They want to get involved. And so naturally, our response is like, okay, this is great. Now, how do we actually go ahead and set people up for success? So just to do a bit of a recap, like in this session, we saw transformation. And it wasn't just about technology. It was around people. We educated and empowered people. We got employees out of their comfort zone, which in a good way, in a positive way. As a result, they became very passionate about what projects they were working on. We saw a lot of teamwork. These were people coming together that hadn't worked together before. And as a result, we scaled our capability set. So prior to this training, you could have asked, okay, how many mobile developers do you have? Not many, right? But now what we've done is actually introduced this technology to a broader set, and they've actually demonstrated they can do useful things that drive outcomes. Now, as a side benefit of all of this, innovation has emerged, right? We saw some pretty progressive solutions based on the ROI relative to the previous approach to actually solving those problems. And I think most importantly, back to the outcomes, is we were able to generate outcomes as a result of this. This wasn't just hey, I'm going to have an easy Friday, where I'm just going to go do some things and then go home and enjoy my weekend, right? At the end of the day, we did tie this back to outcomes. And I think if you take a step back and you look at what your organization's trying to do from both an employee or personnel perspective and from an outcome perspective, I'd be willing to bet that this is what every organization is trying to achieve. And it's certainly something that we're pretty excited about doing more of just because we've seen a lot of early benefits as a result. So shameless plug, in order to get an IT executive perspective, my boss is actually, and I are co-presenting at 9:30, so that's not a typo, so that's in like 10 minutes or something, in C107. So if you want to get more of the executive perspective in terms of how she is thinking about this transformation and bottom-up innovation, feel free to go ahead and check out that session. So takeaways. So there's some content. So this is content provided by Microsoft. This is Flow in a Day and App in a Day. So you can do this. There's the content. It's free. Download it. It has all of the labs that are available to you in terms of building flows, building apps. And then what you can do is actually, someone within your organization, perhaps it's you, can be that agent of change, go through this content, learn it, and then set up these sorts of sessions at your organization. And I think naturally getting leadership buy-in can be difficult, but I would say link it back to outcomes. Talk about this isn't just training. Let's capture objectives. Let's create some initiatives. Let's identify initiative owners. Let's actually set some milestones up so that they can check in to say, hey, are people actually doing this? Then you can actually schedule the checkpoints, the demo, and then unblock the resources and give them the time to work on this. Then you have the opportunity to share the success and reinvigorate your organization, whether they be in the business or in IT. And the other thing we said as part of this too was have fun. Like, this is not a test. Like, this is, if you truly want to transform your culture, is you do need to create that excitement. Give people an opportunity to have some fun as well. So with that, that's all I have. So.
Yeah, I think we have any questions, any one or two questions? We have time for a couple of questions. And there are microphones here, or you could just shout, yeah?
The app you showed at the beginning, was that contained in the mobile power app?
So the question was, the app that we showed, was it the first app? The station checklist?
Yes.
Yeah, so the question was the station checklist built inside of the Power Apps player, or was it a web experience? So it is actually a mobile app. It was just for that demo. It was just demonstrated through the web browser. They didn't have the dongle like the last demo had in order to record it. So yes, it is. So it is a mobile application, but it was just for the demo. We ran it through the browser.
Okay, I'll say thank you very much for coming. Hopefully this was useful. Thank you.